So, the next dimension of intelligence is called as Ahankara. Ahankara means identity. This is important, that in modern societies, we have not cultured our children to culture their identity. When I say identity, the fundamental identity for you is always your body. This racial thing that concerns him and concerns all of us. I'm darker than him, you know. I face it all the time, joyfully, but I face it everywhere I go. I have extra features which make me further discriminated. But our first identity is with the body. When we identified with the body, the color of the skin also becomes part of it. Why do we identify with the body? Because our experience is limited to this. If you say me, you mean this, isn't it? Because your experience of life is limited to this, naturally you're identified with this and this is you and this is how you look. Somebody looks so different, whether in gender or because of race or because of maybe just fashion. Who knows what makes them different? But suddenly, this is me, that's you, it's established. But we sit here in this hall, whatever the color of our skin, whatever our religion, whatever our gender, we are inhaling and exhaling the same air. But we have no issue. Body has no problem. But the identity has a problem. You're identified with something. We have not cultured our children right from an early age that your identity should be universal. This is something in India, traditionally, before you start education for a child, there's something called as Vidyarambham, where the first chant that they must do is that my identification with the entire cosmos. Without this, you should not give education to a child, that is the understanding. Because education is seen as an empowerment. You should not empower a person who has limited identifications. Because it doesn't matter whether it's of individual nature or of family or of community or race, religion, nation, it doesn't matter. Once you have limited identity, you will cause disharmony, you will cause cruel things, thinking you're doing the right thing. I know the debate, the source of… the debate always goes to ISIS and things like this. I want you to understand this. These people, looking at their actions, you may be sitting here, I know I'm getting into a minefield. Sitting here, all of us think these are horrible people. But you must understand this, they believe they are doing the greatest thing that a human being can do. They're working for God. There can be no better employer. Not Google, God.
Who you've never prayed to.
Huh? That's my problem. But I'm saying, you should have seen this, you know, I'm sure you guys can Google anything. You must see, there is a press meet that the Afghan Taliban is conducting with the international media just before United States invaded Afghanistan. All these young guys with long beards and big turbans, they're all sitting like this. And they're asking questions. Just then they had, bombed that Buddha statue and they made this thing that girls should not go to school and many other things. So these kind of questions are coming. Whatever you ask them, they say, in our book, in our holy book, our prophet, our God said this, we're just doing that. I was just watching these guys, I had tears in my eyes. These are wonderful guys. These are guys who are willing to die for what they believe in, but they've been screwed up by the scriptures. Yes, these are wonderful people who are willing to die for what they think is right, all right? A man who's willing to die for what he thinks is right is a great man, but look at the consequence. Simply because of limited identity. So this Ahankara, this identity is what wields the intellect. If you hold the right identity, from an early age, if it's brought into us that your identity is with the entire cosmos, because nothing happens here without everything's involvement in you. We are sitting on this round planet which is spinning and moving at a great speed in the middle of nowhere. You don't know where it begins, where it ends, this thing. And look at us sitting here and talking. How many forces in the existence are keeping you and me in place on this chair? So there is no way we can exist without the involvement of all this. But talking about this intellectually is not going to help, because if you try to understand intellectually, you're using a knife, further you will divide. So there is another dimension of intelligence within you which can make you come to an experience of this. The next dimension of intelligence is called as manas.